thank you all for those who stay. Just have a very informal discussion, about 30 minutes, so you can rush off to your dinners. Okay, so maybe a way of introduction. First of all, Haris Pasovic, a friend.
Good evening.
Good evening. Really fantastic to see you here on stage.
Thank you, and it's wonderful to be in this marvelous theater. And good evening to everybody, and thank you for being in the show and staying now.
Okay. Haris is the director and co-writer of the performance. And then we have the co-producers, starting with Sean Buhagiar, who we all know, of course, dramaturg and artistic director of Teatru Malta, and Kushtrem, okay, Sheremeti, okay, he's the general director of the National Theatre of Kosovo. Lovely to have you here. And Norbert Rakowski, the artistic director of JK Opole Theatre of Poland, from the home of Grotowski, of course. And missing are two other persons from the performance, Marcus and Giacomo from Slovenia and Italy.
Marco Bratuš, he's a co-writer and director of theater, artistic director of the National Slovenian Theatre in Nova Gorica. And he is in the plane, actually. He had to go back to Slovenia, and our colleagues from Italy, from Teatro Due, they were not able to join us this time, but they are usually with us.
Thank you, Haris. Anyway, so my first question is to maybe Haris, actually. How did the performance come about? How did you conceive it? What was the whole collaboration? How did it happen?
It was a joke.
Ah.
It started as a joke because Norbert and I were at the jury, as a members of the jury in Slovenian National Festival Bošnikovo Srećanje, and we were there for 10 days. And as the jury, you have lots of work. You have to see the shows, you have to discuss, but also you have lots of time, you know. But nobody wants to talk to you because, you know, they are everybody's very distant. So, you know, we stay alone, basically, with ourselves for 10 days. And we, just to make ourselves more interesting time, you know, Norbert and I started to fantasize and to invent the stories, what can happen, what could have happened in the international jury, you know. So we had our competition, you know, that who will be more inventive with a more bizarre story, you know. At a certain moment, it was so amusing that I said to Norbert, Norbert, we have to do the show, you know. And he said, yeah, it should be called The Judges, you know. And that's remained on that. But then, you know, just a few months later, he invited me. I was in Krakow on another festival, big, fantastic festival, Boska Komedia, Divine Comedy. And he said, come over to Opole, which is close, to talk about this idea for the show, because Marco Bratuš was there. And then that's how we started to conceive this show. But then maybe the producer can say what happened later. Please, come here.
So, producers, Sean wants to start?
Norbert is shy. So basically, it's the central the thing that brought us together the most was the ETC, then the European Theatre Convention. So we have been members. Actually, it's one of the first things we've done, and we became members in 2018. So slowly we started getting more friendlier with the network, and anyway, and then there was this project that was being discussed. I must confess that when the first thing, when Haris and I remember Marco told me about it, the first reaction was Eurovision, because Malta Eurovision is big. Luckily, 5 co-producers joined, and it's the first co-production of the sort in the ETC, you know? It's not a co-production where you get funds and do it because you got the funds, but each theater put the funds in to actually, they believed in the show, and we did it all together.
Maybe you sorry.
I don't know how familiar you are with the current funding in Europe, because there is this Creative Europe fund, which is a very big fund in Brussels, and of course it's very good fund, you know. So, but the requirement, there is a requirement that several theaters work together in order to make certain show, and then people just organize themselves in order to apply for this. This was the other way around. The theaters, actually these 5 companies, decided to do the show regardless of Creative Europe or any funding body. They invested their own funds, and that was, for me, fascinating, you know. I said, okay, these guys are really serious about this, because we already at that time discussed the show that would be the show about theater and Europe. And then we had the first meeting at the festival d'Avignon. It was very exciting, but also very bizarre, you know, because we all came very enthusiastically there, but it was 40 degrees plus, you know. And it was a big crowd in the festival, and there were fires all around, you know. So the
no
ashes,
taxis.
Yeah, the ashes were in the air, and we had the meeting. And right after the meeting, we went to this festival club, and the festival club is in the former big swimming pool, but now empty. So we were sitting at the bottom of the empty swimming pool and celebrating the beginning of this production. So everything was
Sounds
unusual.
like a whatever, play in itself, huh? Crazy. Okay. Sean, I wanted to ask you as well about what this European collaboration means for Malta, because I believe it's the first time I've ever seen anything of this sort.
I think so too, from a theatrical perspective, as in it's the first international theatre co-production for a national theatre company. For us, it's a huge step in the right direction. I mean, even the actors maybe can speak on their experience. So there's the individual. I was involved also artistically as a dramaturg with Haris and Marco in the room, and worked on the text in English. To me personally, it was also an important process, because, you know, when you work internationally, this sounds obvious, but it's less obvious when you're in it. But it does something to your humanity that doesn't happen when you're working with people of the same ethnicity, same. So I think that's important in itself, but there's also for us, the huge opportunity to also use this as a springboard. So now I can actually announce that we got 2 other ETC development grants for 2 other projects. And we made friends. So today I can call Norbert, Kushtrim, Haris, Marco, Giacomo, Francesca, but they are friends. And that making friends in Europe is important, because otherwise I don't know what Europe means. And today we made friends artistically, which to us is very important, and to me personally. Especially,
we're an island. To the other 2 co-producers, before I'll ask the actors some questions. How was your experience of coming to Malta? This is, I believe, is the 2nd performance, and you have another 2, 3.
Yeah. But what I want to mention that for us, for a co-producer, it was really important to agree as a group. I mean, the challenge was a lot of compromises. I did a lot of co-productions, like more than 20, but never with 5 co-producers. So it was a challenge for everyone. And finally we did it. That's the huge success, because, you know, not every day it's a really easy day in the theater. So I really thank you for that.
Yes, I will be very brief, but whatever was said, I can approve that it was right, even what Norbert said. But to do such a production, at least from my experience, there was one moment that Haris mentioned Avignon and everything, but then it was another meeting that we had in Lisbon during the ETC conference, European Theatre Convention conference, and actually we were supposed to be 6 partners. And the 6th partner from one of the one place of Europe, it was one moment that said, okay, what do I get? And 5 of us, other co-producers, we were watching each other like, okay, I don't know, like choose what you get, like imagine. And then he stepped out. And that was also one moment for all of us, I believe, that we kind of made a 100% decision that we will do all the passion, all the love in order to make this happen. And I believe such productions like this, which as Harry said earlier, was not made just to get some funds from Europe. It was really on the sense of belief of co-productions, on the belief of theater, and then all the wonderful cast that we have with 9 different passports put all their love and knowledge and professionalism into theater, coming from 9 different places into Opole, working for 2 months, and creating this that was shown tonight in Malta. And about being in Malta, it's a huge pleasure. It's my first time, but quite sure for me and other actors from Kosovo as well will not be the last one, because it's something that we liked and we want to come experience also after carnivals.
Thank you. Actually, I have another question for the co-producers. I just remembered I met Claudia, your president of the European Theatre Convention, at a meeting recently, and she presented the Theatre Green Book that was published by the European Theatre Convention. So if I can ask maybe a Creative Europe question here, in the environmentally friendly processes you might have integrated into your production process?
I'll save you.
I'll save you.
No, it's fine. The Green Book was published after this process began, but the ETC is very treats green theatre very importantly. And actually the irony is that we had, actually it was a longer part in the play, but we discussed this in the play. You know, climate change, but also eco-theatre and the value of eco-theatre. And to be very honest, so doing an international co-production, every theatre has a different policy, but we all agree that we need to have a policy. But you know, you have to have contracts, print them, and so there are things that you can't do without. But the reality is to do an international co-production like this, and I'm going to be very blunt, you cannot be green about it, because people have to fly here, they have to come here. And this was what actually this show was trying to discuss, that ultimately theatre goes to an audience. And it's very important that there is green theatre and there is this consciousness, but the carbon footprint of the show is not the carbon footprint of a normal show. It's a bigger carbon footprint. So I would be lying if I tell you that that was a priority within the co-production. It was a priority to speak about it, to speak about the importance of eco-theatre, but also the irony that sometimes we go to conferences and we speak more about eco-theatre than the actual theatrical, I think Grotowski says this, theatrical form, and it becomes a priority.
That's
but
true.
Our whole carbon footprint for the entire process, including, you know, production meetings and our work in Poland and coming here and everything, all our carbon footprint is like 100 times less than one private jet flight from Brussels to Davos. So we
yes,
are very, very green.
Good
you know.
point.
We are very green.
Yeah.
But what is more important, you know, we are here 2 big countries, like Italy and Poland, 3 small countries, like Malta, Kosovo, and Slovenia, with equal voices, with equal opportunities to create and to create together. with the equal chance to show, to learn about this fascinating place and these fascinating countries and the fascinating talent that there is in this country. And we rehearsed in Teatro Opole, which is a stunning, newly renovated theater, probably the most beautiful new theater building in Europe. We work with the people that we wouldn't be able to work in a different circumstances, most probably. And when it comes to Malta, that's before all Sean Buhagiar, who is certainly one of the most talented and most creative and smartest theater directors in Europe of his generation now. And here we have the actors like Gianni Salveggi and Philip Leon Ganado that were from the beginning in the process, and they are real discovery for me, you know. I mean, I'm so happy that I was able to learn about them, to exchange with them, and that we all actually got something very specific from these two incredible actors. And then later we had Antonella. I don't know, Antonella, she's there. Antonella Axiza is new to the team. She wasn't with us from the beginning. She came in as a substitute, but you couldn't notice that because she was absolutely brilliant. And you have a really great European actress in this small but explosive woman, you know. And Sara Amato, young, gorgeous, and punk. So that's what we learned. Incredible team, super professional team that served the show, and a very beautiful hospitality in the whole country. So I think, you know, this is it really outweighs all these 5 flights that we had to use to come here. Yeah.
No, it was necessary, of course. And Malta is an island, and we need to get out too. So that's important. So I'm going to ask Antonella, because we need to hear a woman's voice now, I suppose.
Okay. I
What
agree.
was the creative process for you? You came in late, and the rehearsal process. How did you kind of manage across countries and...
Okay, so I am replacing the Italian actress, Paola De Crescenzo, who was one of the original cast, and she couldn't make it to Malta. So Sean asked me, I think it was in December, if I could replace her, and that I had to learn the script by heart, and that they would send me a video of the performance. That's what happened. He sent me the script, I watched the video, and I had to learn everything by myself, which I did, because he told me from the very beginning that I would only get 1 day of rehearsals, which was Thursday, the day before the show. And I was very... No, this week. So 1 day. Today it's Sunday. And our premiere was Friday night, and Sean told me I would only get Thursday with all the actors. And I was very scared, but I decided to take up the challenge, so I said yes. And I learned the script very well. I tried to be as prepared as I could. I watched the video many times, learned what Paola was doing and the character. And, so then I met with Sean and Haris on Wednesday for a few hours, discussed the character, but then on Thursday is when I had a proper rehearsal. I was very scared, but everybody really helped me, and Haris and Sean and everybody. So I felt very fine doing it. After obviously Friday, I felt much better because everything went fine on Friday. So yesterday and today, I was more confident. I played a bit more with the character. So that is the story.
Well, I
And
wouldn't
there
have
is
known.
a secret. There is one
Okay.
secret. May I reveal one secret, which is additional secret to the
Okay.
story? And there is a secret that Antonella's partner helped her a lot. So he learned basically the entire script, and he knows all the lines, you know?
Yes.
So actually he was the one that delivered everything and then you came
It's
so
true. And
fascinatingly
he was
ready.
he was pushing me. Antonella, the lines. Let's do the lines now. Okay. So yes,
Is
a
he
big
here?
hello to
Is
Mike.
he here today?
No, he came yesterday.
Okay.
But you have to say about Mike that he's one of those actors that comes into the first rehearsal without the script. So
Exactly. He's the disciplined one, but he forced me to learn the lines really well while driving. When we go out, like so, yeah. Big thanks to him.
Okay. Sarah, you're perhaps the youngest person here.
I don't know.
What
I
is
haven't
your-
asked everyone's age.
No,
to
I
be
don't
honest.
know. Maybe I shouldn't say this. You're looking a bit shocked.
I know.
Anyway.
I'm 26.
Okay. I thought you were younger.
Thanks.
So tell me, what's your experience with this?
I was super excited to perform alongside a cast from all around Europe because this gave me the opportunity to see how different actors from different countries have, you know, training that is perhaps different from mine or, you know, experience that is different from mine. So actually during the rehearsal and even during the performances, I really enjoyed watching backstage. I always was looking at how the different actors we have here were maybe doing things a little bit different than the night before, or how they delivered the line, or what kind of emotion they were expressing. I took it a little bit as a learning experience for myself, because I haven't yet had the opportunity to act alongside an international cast. So for me, that was the most attractive part of being a part of this production, for sure.
So it will be all this team who now goes on to perform in where? Kosovo? Slovenia.
And Kosovo.
Okay, so what happens to Antonella?
I stay here.
Oh,
Oh well, that's the name of the game. I was.
Okay. I don't know what the time is, or if we have more time. Yeah, still a bit of more time. Maybe.
Johnny?
Yeah, okay. Johnny, Philip. Yeah.
So obviously what everyone else was saying, just the opportunity to work with this group of people. I mean, it's, when you bear in mind kind of everyone's different backgrounds and different approaches, it's incredible the team we had, and the chemistry that was built up among the whole team was something spectacular. So just having that opportunity, and you learn so much from seeing the way different people work. I think, to me, always the significance of this project, kind of from when we first got into the room in Opole and you're sitting around a table with all these people, I think this is so significant for Malta because it's hopefully the first of very many. Our theatre here is extremely isolated, geographically, obviously, but also culturally. We're not connected enough to the theatre that's going on in Europe at the moment. We've got our post-colonial obsession with the UK, and other than that, it's just us. And in a weird way, this kind of felt like a bit of like an eye-opening experience of, like, listen, there is this world of theatre out there. It does want us to connect with it. Mm-hmm. We're welcome here. That's what it felt like to me, this project. And I would desperately hope, that this becomes the first step in a much closer link between Malta and the mainland and more international theatre.
That's great. Thanks for that. I think in the work we do, definitely networking with our European peers is crucial for the future, especially in Malta, as an island, as you say. Perhaps any of the audience wants to say something? Any questions?
I would love to put a face to a name. Could I please ask the actors if I can just, starting with the lovely lady in the red dress, fantastic performance. Could I ask for your name, please?
My name is Anna Fakini and I come from Slovenia.
Thank you very much. Yeah, everyone, please.
I'm Felix Römer. I'm originally from Vienna and I'm living in Berlin.
Okay.
As I said, my name is Antonella Xisa and I am Maltese and I am based here.
Hello, my name is Ibrahim Koma. I am from Paris, so France, but I'm originally from Mali.
Guess France for you, yeah.
My name is Sara Amato and I'm Maltese and I'm based in Malta.
Armin Smiley from Kosovo.
And I'm Gianni Salvaggi, and I'm from Malta.
Davide Gagliardini from Italy.
And I'm Philip Leonaganado, and I'm from Malta.
Oh, thank you.
And I think there's May and Blazo. Yeah.
And Boże Stencel, I'm from Poland.
And Veronica is here.
Veronica.
And Majlinda Kosumovic from Kosovo.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
And Veronica's not here. Veronica's from Poland.
Thanks for that question, actually. Good. Thank you. Where are you from? Sweden. Okay.
Good question.
Any more questions? Anyone?
Yes, first I want to thank you all for a wonderful, wonderful play and performance. And I would like to hear more about how you put this diverse team together in the first place. And what is the future you see for this play and for this type of play? And I'm calling type of play not just it being pulling together all European actors, but in the type of thinking and the messages that it brings to Europe. Thank you.
Thank you for these questions. Concerning diversity, I think that for me it comes rather natural, you know. I've been working for many years, you know, for decades, in a very diverse settings, you know. So for me, this is kind of home. This is normal, you know, to have people coming from different cultural experiences, from different ages, obviously both men and women, and everybody brings something very particular in terms of knowledge, culture, experience, and that works. You know, it is not only romantic. Sometimes it's difficult because, you know, I mean, we arrive to some obstacles, and these obstacles are not always light. You know, we have to work on this. This is a project to live together. It's a project to live with your own partners together, and live with so many people coming from so different countries. It is even bigger project, you know. But if everybody understands this, you know, in the team, that this is the project, then we invest the energy, we invest our will to make it work. And I believe, I mean, at least in my case, in the case, and as I understand it, in the case of my co-producers and my colleagues, in the case of people that we know, because Davinia and Mario, they are members of European Festival Association, which is another big European organization bringing so many people together, and they are real Maltese ambassadors when it comes to European Festival Association. I think we are destined to live and work together, or we won't be. So we better learn, the quicker the better, you know, how to live and work together. Otherwise, Europe cannot sustain itself if we don't live together. You know, if we don't live together, we will die together. So we don't have many choice. And the second question about the nature of the play and the type of the engagement, that's something which we very much fight for in the play, as you could see, to the point that the character that Johnny plays commits suicide. It stages, you know, these big riots. I personally believe that the European theatre is quite in a crisis, that is quite behind some other processes in the societies, that it needs braver artists, the artists who will give more, who sacrifice more in order to keep the art live and the theatrical creation engaged. And that's something which has been my life for 40 years, and I will not change it. And as, again, you know, Philip, I think that has this quote from Susan Sontag, we are zealots of seriousness, and I think this is the way how the art and theater should proceed. Very serious, but that means also fun, because in theater, seriousness equals fun.
I'd like to ask one more question, actually, to continue from what you were saying. This wasn't a text-based performance. It was all created. It's much more obvious, maybe more difficult to sell to audiences because it's not the usual recognized theater pieces, scripted pieces. How do you kind of overcome these challenges in selling different types of performance in different countries?
I think one thing that what we should mention is that all the theaters are state and theaters, in that they're not the independent scene or the alternative scene. So I think when it's theaters like us, we have a duty to do something different and to not do the commercial names or the easy names, because otherwise, I always say, you'd be competing with the private sector. And this is something that I agree with Philip a lot, and I know we've discussed it a lot with the actors, that I do believe that it's kind of it should be a blueprint for us going forward, because it's not something that the private sector can currently do. So we've done things that we believe that now the private sector is doing, and I think this is the next step in opening these networks, and hopefully, like I said, friends with the co-producers, the actors now are all friends, and then networks and networks and networks. So after this project, this is our plan, and for us it's worthwhile, because even though it's not an easy name, when you come to think about it, with the budget we spent on making this with our co-producers, bringing this here, going into 5 countries, rehearsing for 6 weeks or more in another country, then having the possibility to go to other countries, we spent, I would say, 40% less on a production of this size in Malta alone. So co-productions are the future, I believe, and if it comes at the expense of risking more with a name you can't sell as easily as a Shakespeare or as easily as a musical, I think the fact that you're providing something different and risking something different can be appreciated by an audience. There is an audience out there that appreciates that.
It's more of a challenge. But maybe we should end with Haris wants to say something.
Yeah, there is one more thing that I would like to say, and that is that among the stories you noticed, obviously the story coming from Malta. You know, we didn't include all the stories because of the co-producers. We don't have Slovenian story, we don't have Kosovo story, we don't have, but we included the story about Daphne Caruana Galizia because it is a big European story. It is about freedom of speech. It is about safety of the journalists. It's about safety of all of us. And we were all very excited and also a bit apprehensive about how this story will resonate here. And I just received a message of Matthew, the son of Daphne. He couldn't come tonight, but he said he would like to meet us later. We believe that this story, there is something that has to be learned from this story. That's why we included it in the show.
Thank you for that. Yes, Daphne was a friend of mine, actually. So it was... I think her children should be here and see it, and people should learn more about it. But the topics were about all the challenges that we're facing, and I think the worst thing of all is our self-censorship. You know, as soon as we're in a certain environment, we tend to clam up, shut up, because of fear of so many repercussions, even social ones, little social ones. So it's so sad. Thank you for that, Haris. Thank you all. Thank you for asking me to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Davinia. Thank you, and thank you, everybody.
Break leg, actually,
Yeah,
for your next performance. Thank you.
Thank you, Davinia. Thanks for being here. Davinia was my first boss, and I learned so much from here, and I'm here also because of Davinia. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.